Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and in today's video, we're going to talk about today's monster move in Bitcoin and understand why it is we had such a huge move today, what the reason for that is, and my expectations for the future for the Bitcoin price. But before we get to that, be sure to subscribe, be sure to hit that like button, be sure to follow me on X and also on Threads, and we're going to get right into it. So, Bitcoin today is up about 6%, a little bit over 6%. Ethereum is up 4.6%, not as big, but still very solid for Ethereum. Now, if you'll notice, if you're in Green Index, we're still at 35 right now. It's still technically at fear, so we still have some room to run. So the big news that came out today was that Grayscale won basically this appeal against the SEC. So if you guys remember, the SEC has been preventing Grayscale and a lot of these companies such as BlackRock from getting that Bitcoin spot ETF. Now they've appealed the decision that the SEC made originally, and they apparently have won that appeal. So what that means is that the SEC needs to review that application. And this is really important because when we talk about the Bitcoin spot ETF, I've said multiple times on this channel that it's a matter of when and not if, because the SEC has already allowed for futures Bitcoin ETFs, okay? And futures and spots, not really that big of a difference, because if you allow one, you should be able to allow both of them. And so that's why I've always said it's a matter of if and not when a Bitcoin ETF, spot ETF gets approved, and this is a step in the right direction. Now, Grayscale has tried to turn their Bitcoin trust into an ETF for some time now, and it would be very advantageous for them to do so. And as we've noted before on this channel, there is a premium currently that people who buy GBTC will observe, because the premium, basically, GBTC itself does not track the exact price of Bitcoin, and so it actually trades at a bit of a discount to the Bitcoin price. So that premium, that discount, will hopefully be eroded in the future as this GBTC becomes a Bitcoin spot ETF. This also increases the chances that we'll see things like a BlackRock Bitcoin spot ETF as well as others. It also increases that chance immensely. So this has absolutely historic information, historic news for Bitcoin, and quite frankly, this is just amazing information for anybody who's a fan of Bitcoin, a fan of crypto in the space. And right now it shows that the SEC is not invincible, that they can lose these court battles, and the crypto community can actually gain a leg up on them. Now, as a result, we saw Bitcoin spike today. Again, this huge green candle. One thing I want to point out first before we zoom in a little bit, take a look at the volume for today. Today's volume, 4.5. Okay, so 4,500 Bitcoin today. This right here, this candle is almost as large as the liquidation candle back on the 17th of August. In fact, it's the largest green volume candle we've had since the 30th or so of June. And we've seen similarly high candles here back when we had that original news that the company BlackRock was trying to get that Bitcoin spot ETF. So we've seen a large amount of Bitcoin trading hands today. We've seen it go through major resistance here at about the 200-day moving average, and that was about 27,184, and we've seen it hold this vital support level here of about 25,800. Now, in my previous videos, I've talked about just being able to take advantage of this opportunity and the fact that I have been buying heavily down here in this area. And I think what it comes down to is the fact that people just got way too bearish way too fast. That's kind of how things tend to work on the markets. Crypto is really no different than a lot of financial markets, and that is there's kind of a prevailing wisdom that the trend is your friend, and it's always just going to keep continuing. And quite frankly, I think just a lot of people got way too bearish, and now they found themselves off sides. We saw some huge FOMO here pile into today after today's good news, and now we're starting to see a reversal here of momentum. And I think it's only a matter of time, basically, before we wind up seeing the continuation of the uptrend for Bitcoin. So I want to go ahead and show you another reason why Bitcoin went up so heavily today was because of an exceptionally large amount of liquidations. We actually have in that one, in this hour, the hour after the huge run up here, we actually had about $11 million worth of liquidations. We also saw a huge increase in the open interest. So the open interest number of contracts that are currently outstanding. So we saw a large move up in the open interest, and we saw the funding rates actually turn negative up here. So we actually saw quite a few shorts enter in this area right here. And now it looks like the shorts were trying to push the price down because they don't believe that this is a real pump. They believe this is a fake pump. And it seems like right now there's a significant number of shorts are waiting here at about this price range at about 28,000. So if we do push above 28,000, I do think we're going to wind up seeing significant liquidations on these shorts, and we could see the price move much higher. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at our liquidations for Bitcoin for the day, we're actually at about 50 million worth of short liquidations. Now, actually, this isn't a huge amount, especially if you compare it back to what we saw here on the 16th of August, where you had $120 million worth of short liquidations, but it is a fairly significant number, and I do think that that means that this right here is only the beginning of what we could see for those liquidations. Like I said before, we saw a huge number of shorts enter in the market here at about this price, and I do think that we could actually wind up pushing higher with some additional liquidations. Now, remember, I said that earlier that the fear and greed index was only at 35 right now. So the market is still very fearful currently. We haven't moved into greed. We haven't moved into neutral. We're still stuck at fear. And that leaves us more room for upside. Now, additionally, we had some more good information come out with the news that X, formerly known as Twitter, obtained a license to store, transfer, and trade Bitcoin and crypto. Now, this is something they've been talking about for some time now, but this is more of an example of increased adoption throughout the space, throughout traditional media in this case, and traditional finance such as PayPal. We've seen an increased adoption towards Bitcoin and crypto, and right now I think that this is going to be another example of the direction that they could take this. These social media platforms could integrate crypto and Bitcoin as payments, and maybe in the future you can get paid by crypto or by Bitcoin from X, and that would be honestly pretty amazing. Or if you could send money, send Bitcoin, send crypto through X to your favorite creators, that would also be pretty amazing. Now, additionally, one more thing I want to talk about here for our Bitcoin news is this wallet right here. This is also known as wallet number 3, whale wallet number 3. And this wallet basically appeared out of nowhere one day. You can kind of see it was created back in about the May-ish, about May 16th or so. It was created in May 16th. And now you're starting to see it collected a huge amount of Bitcoin. It collected so much Bitcoin in the span of a couple of months that it became the 3rd largest Bitcoin wallet, and people were very curious about what exactly this was. Okay, this wasn't the old Bitcoin whale wallet number 3, and it has been pointed out that this wallet actually belongs to Robinhood. So we have the analytics firm here, Arkham. They've listed this specific address as Robinhood Jump Trading Custody. So it is a Robinhood Bitcoin custody wallet. And now, as I said before, this has $3 billion worth of Bitcoin in it right now, or about 118,000 Bitcoin. And again, this wallet kind of appeared out of nowhere. It's very interesting that this wallet is here now, and maybe signifies the fact that Robinhood is more interested in getting into crypto or providing additional crypto services as well. But the fact that we've seen this kind of appear overnight, it kind of solved that one mystery, or at least a mystery for me, that I had about what this wallet actually is, and if it were possible, if one single person could amass that much Bitcoin and store it in one wallet, I think that would be pretty incredible, frankly. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Ethereum. So Bitcoin had a very strong day today. Ethereum also had a strong day, but unfortunately, unlike Bitcoin, it's still well below its 200-day moving average. That's going to be here at about 1777 or 1774. This is going to be heavy resistance when Ethereum tries to push up and tries to push past this region right here. This is where I would expect the next region of resistance. But Ethereum will follow Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum is going to go up as well. And Ethereum's actually in a pretty pronounced uptrend right now. It's held support that we've seen at about 1654 fairly well. And I do think that it's still on its way to moving even higher. In fact, if we draw out our little bit of an up channel here, we can actually see what's going on here with the Ethereum price and the fact that it's on a very clear uptrend. Now, this is the largest green candle for Ethereum since all the way back in the 1st of August. That didn't really see much action there, but Ethereum was up at about just over 4% today, and I think it's a strong performer on the day. Now, you may ask yourself, what about Bitcoin dominance? Well, Bitcoin dominance also went up today. It went up about 1.3%. It's still outside of this uptrend. We established this uptrend earlier, and it is still well outside of this uptrend. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out here so you guys can see this. But this uptrend here, you can kind of redraw this to almost say that it's still within this uptrend, but at a certain point, it's going to start moving sideways, and then now you get a much less steep uptrend, and you keep basically moving the goalposts. So I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to say, however, is that it's still holding support right here. I'm going to go ahead and put this trend line in. It's still holding support at about 48%. So we shall see whether or not this support level holds. I do think it will, and especially as Bitcoin kind of takes over and we start to see more of these ETFs filed and hopefully approved, we'll see the Bitcoin dominance actually go up dramatically. Now, the absolute last thing I want to talk about is what's going on this week. So I usually like to break down the economic reports and Fed speakers and everything on MarketWatch's calendar tool here. And what we have tomorrow is the GDP revision. That's going to be particularly important. Figure out what the U.S. GDP is for your Q2. We also have Fed president speaking on Thursday as well. We have jobless claims. That's going to be happening. And we also have the PCE index. Very important, all right? A personal consumption expenditures index. We're looking for that to go down. And if this goes down and continues lower, that means the Fed doesn't have to be so aggressive in raising rates, and the market will rally. So look for this to happen on Thursday for that number to be released at about 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And now Friday, there's also non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate. This is actually something I'm watching very closely because I believe that we're not going to wind up having a strong lasting recession if the unemployment stays low. So this would be bullish for crypto if the unemployment rate stays low, because more people who have more money are more interested in investing in Bitcoin or crypto and buying that digital gold or buying those investments or using them as transactional currency, okay? All right, so that's all I've got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about today's monster Bitcoin rally, and if you think this rally could continue like I do, leave a comment below, or if you're skeptical, if you think this is just a fake out pump before we dump even lower, definitely interested in hearing about that. This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and I hope to catch you guys in the next video.